Good morning, everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
Yeah. So we are into the lesson livelihood and struggles of urban workers. So in this lesson, already we discussed about the permanent workers and badli workers and also the workers who are taking on contract basis. Okay. So even we discussed about the differences between the permanent workers and badli workers and contract workers. So permanent workers are nothing but the workers which are appointed or designed with certain amount of salary per month, and badli workers also will be fixed with certain amount. Okay, and permanent workers are getting all the allowances along with their salary every month, like HRA, house rent allowance, leave travel allowance, whatever it is. Okay, and badli workers, what is the difference? What is the meaning of badli workers? Yesterday even I gave one good example to make you to understand very easily. Badli workers are nothing but in the place of, if any permanent worker is absent, in the absence of any permanent worker, these badli workers are replaced to do the work. Okay, so such kind of employees will be called as badli workers. And there is one more workers also will be there, those who are appointed, those who will be hired on the basis of daily basis. So yesterday we went with one example in Kottur city, which comes under Rangareddy district, which is 30 kilometers away from Hyderabad. Fibrotex industry or factory was established in the year 1976. What is this? Fibrotex. And in this company, nearly 570 workers are working. Okay, out of 570, we came across 140 workers are said to be permanent workers, and 60 workers are appointed as badli workers. Okay, and rest of the 300 members are hired on the basis of contract basis, on the basis of contractor basis. So let us know about in the year 2002 or 2006 in between, the salary of permanent workers will be appointed as 4,500 to 10,000 rupees. This is the salary of permanent workers, and 60 workers, as I said, they have been appointed as a badli workers. Badli workers means replaced in the absence of permanent worker, nothing but substituted. Okay, so badli workers, as I gave an example, if I am on leave, my period will be substituted with some other teacher, so that is called as replacement or substitution. Okay, so these 60 badli workers salary will be nearly 3,000 to 4,000 in between. Okay, and let us talk about the contract basis, the employees or the workers who has been hired on the basis of contract basis. Here also I gave one example yesterday. Suppose take for example, when we are decided to go to Yadagiri Gutta or some other place, instead of driving by your father, you will hire one driver, one person as a driver, and for 8 hours if he engaged with us, certain amount will be paid to the driver. And more than, if it is getting more than 8 hours, if any time is extending, every 1 hour we have to pay extra amount to that particular driver. So this will be the charges, and this is called as nothing but contract basis or else daily basis. Okay, so when a driver is hired on a daily basis for particular hours, in the same way these contractual workers also are appointed on daily basis. Daily basis in the means what? If any worker is working for 8 hours or 10 hours in a factory, each and every hour will be paid 58 rupees to each and every worker. Like that, this contract worker per day, how many hours he is working here? 10 hours he is working. So 10 hours into 58, how much? 580 rupees is going to be paid to the contract worker who is hired or who is appointed on daily basis. If he is working more than 10 hours, one more 58 rupees will be charged. Like that, the amount will be added to the hours of working, the duration of the extra working if he works or she works. So these are the differences between the permanent worker, contract worker and badli workers. Okay, so in previous lessons many times even we discussed about there will be a person, there will be a person and also there should be a person. Yesterday even I went with one example. I took your where you are staying. If you are staying in apartment, they have to form one association to look after the maintenance of your apartment. The maintenance will be in the form of lift maintenance. The maintenance will be in the form of giving salary to your apartment's watchman, water, generator, installation of CC cameras. So these are all will be called as the maintenance of the apartment. For that, some particular association with any three important members should be elected by the residents of your own apartment, which is called as association. What it is? Which is called as association. And each and every flat is collecting how many rupees? 2000 rupees, and 2000 rupees will be deposited in the bank on the name of your apartment's association. So some sort of group of people are there to look after the maintenance of your building. In the same way, when point comes to factory or association, factory or any industry or any company, a group of people will form an association which is called as trade union. What it is?
Trade union.
Trade union. What is the meaning of trade union here? The responsibility of the trade union. A group of workers where they are working. A group of workers where they are working. They'll decide in the previous lesson how a chief minister will be appointed. After making discussion, the assembly members, the house members will decide and discuss together, and they'll select and elect one person as their leader who will be called as chief minister. Okay, who will be appointed by the governor with the name of, with the designation of chief minister. In the same way, the people, whether they are permanent workers, whether they are badli workers or contract based workers, whomever they are, while working, during their work, chances are, if any chance is there to, if any worker is facing any problem, or if any worker wants to want some bonus in advance, or if any workers wants to increase their salary, even the contract based also, now 58 rupees the company is giving, let us demand for few more charges per hour. Like that, to discuss individually cannot go to the management and they cannot discuss the problem or the demand what they wanted to. So in such scenario, the members will decide a person and form one association which is called as a trade union. And for this trade union, they'll elect one person as a leader of the trade union. Leader of the trade union. So what is the responsibility of the leader here? The leader of the trade union, he has to look after the benefits which are going to be getting by factory workers or not, whether they are securing all the allowances or not. Suppose take for example, let us talk about permanent workers in a factory. What the trade union leader has to do, whether a person is getting provident fund or not, employment fund insurance or not he is getting, whether he is getting HRA, house rent allowance or not, whether a worker is getting leave travel allowance. Leave travel allowance also I explained yesterday. If any worker wants to take a leave for 1 week or half week and they want to take his family on a tour to and fro while going and while coming, sound
Continue.
So, if any worker wants to take his family on a tour for 1 week, so while going and coming, whatever the ticket charges are going to be happen, whether how they are going, it's up to them, whether they are going by train or bus or whatever it is. So those allowances will be called as leave travel allowances. In short form, we can call it as LTA. If any worker is living in a rented house, HRA, house rent allowance also will be issued by the company. So these are all the allowances. If any worker is seriously got health issue, they will be appointed in a corporate hospitals or not to look after the responsibility of the leader of the trade union. So finally, the trade union will be formed with one person as a leader, where he can discuss all the problems, all the situations, okay, all the situations on behalf of the total workers. This person will go to the management or will go to the owner of the company or factory or industry. He is going to discuss about the problems of all the workers together. In so and so section, as I said, Fibrotex company is producing fiberglasses. So at the time of making fiberglasses, if any worker is facing any problem with the machine or tool, while working, if he is getting any allergy, health issue, everything comes under, and these are all the problems and these are all the points need to discuss with the company owner by the trade union leader. So that is the exact meaning of the trade union. So here the workers who is working in an association or in a company, they should be allotted with all the allowances, and at the same time the salary should be paid in time, whether they are appointed on a contractual basis, or whether they are said to be badli workers, or whether they are said to be the permanent workers. Whatever the amount was decided by the company owner, see that every payment should be paid in time to each and every work. So the problem should be discussed by the leader of the trade union with the company owner on behalf of each and every individual or each and every worker, because one individual, he cannot fight for his own problem. One person, he cannot go to the owner of the company to discuss while working, during working hours, what kind of problems are faced by that particular individual. He cannot put his problem in front of the company's owner. So that's the reason, by taking all such problems into consideration, the workers are decided to form one union, which is called as trade union, and they'll select one person as their leader to put forth all kinds of problems of the workers, whether it is good or bad. We can't say everything in a negative way. Some positives also will be there, where a leader need to discuss with the company's owner to increase the products or to increase the quality of the products in a company. The trade union leader has to discuss on behalf of all the workers, where the formation of trade union is very, very important in a company or in a factory or in a industry. Okay, so we are talking about the different kind of workers in a company or in an industry or in a factory. So three types of workers are there, as we discussed earlier. One is permanent workers. The second one is badli workers, who are replaced in the absence of permanent workers, and the third one is contract based workers. Okay, so here, do you think these three kinds of workers are getting same salaries?
No.
Permanent will be fixed with certain salary in a month, along with the all other allowances. Okay, and what is the next one? Badli workers, who are appointed to replace in the absence of any permanent worker. They will be designed with certain salary. And contract based employees or workers also, if these people are working for 10 hours in a day, they will be charged with certain amount, 58 or 60 rupees per hour, like that 600 rupees each and every worker will be paid. Okay, so this is the difference. And when point comes to what is the difference between permanent workers and these workers, the permanent workers cannot be removed by the owner of the company or factory or industry without giving compensation or without giving any salary, they cannot remove. If company decided to remove any person, permanent worker, before 2 months, they have to give notice to that particular person. So this is your period, and after this, after 2 months, you are not going to continue with us. So please kindly look in any other place, as we are going to take out from the factory. So without giving such kind of prior intimation means what? Well in advance, 2 months before, the owner of the company should inform to a particular worker that I am going to take out after 2 months. So better you will work only for 2 months and you are not going to continue further. So this kind of information giving by the owner of the company to a worker is very, very important. When, if any owner of the company is decided to remove any worker here, see that the amount related to that worker should be closed. Amount means the total account, finance account, should be closed immediately of that worker. And no one is having any right to keep his account in pending. You go and come, I'll call you when everything, your account was prepared, I'll call you and I'll give you total amount on so and so date. Nothing. When you decided to remove a person, try to close his account on the spot, on the same day, immediately. And nobody is having any right to keep his account in pending. Okay, so that will be the matter. And this, coming to the point of badli workers, or who is that, contract based workers, at any moment, whenever they want, they can remove, they can say don't come from tomorrow onwards. But in case of permanent workers, they should not do that. They have to give prior intimation to the worker that you are not going to continue further after 2 months or 1 month or whatever. Some grace period will be given by the owner of the company. Some grace period should be given to each and every worker once if they decided to remove anyone. But in case of badli workers, in case of contract based workers, they can remove at any time. They can be removed at any time because they are not appointed on monthly salary basis. So it is, everything is depends upon the workers, company owner's hand, so he can remove. So that is the situation between, that is the difference between the permanent workers, the badli workers and contract workers. And also we discussed about the trade union, where one person will be selected as their leader to discuss about the problems. Not only the problems faced by a worker when he is working with the machines or tools or whatever it is. Okay, not only this person is there to discuss with the company's owner that so and so worker is getting this problem while working. If any unknown things are happening in the company among the workers, suppose take for example, if any male person is harassing any female person, so that is also should come to the notice, should bring to the notice of the trade union leader, and that person, that leader will go and discuss with the management that because of so and so person, X person is facing problem because of Y person. So he is harassing her. So immediately you have to take an action against that person, whether you warn him or else you remove from the company. So this kind of discussions also will be made by the leader of the trade union with the owner of the company. So the problems may in the form of a person, the problem may face in the form of working hours with the machines and tools, whatever you take. So everything this person is having, all the members should bring to the notice of the trade union leader. Then trade union leader will go to the company's owner and discuss about all the problems. And the allowances what the permanent worker is getting from the company, the badli workers are not getting, and contract based workers also not receiving from the company. So in any way, permanent workers life will be a safe and secured manner. Okay, they will be allotted with all the allowances. If a person is living in house rent allowance will be allotted, leave travel allowance will be given to the permanent worker, and health insurance also will be given to a permanent worker. Employment fund insurance will be there, which is related to health, Unfortunately, if any permanent worker is fell sick and he is going to appoint in a hospital, trade union's responsibility to shift that person to such a big hospital where a treatment can be in a better way to that patient. Okay, so these are all the benefits are going to gain by permanent worker where comparatively badli workers and contract based workers. So badli workers are getting less allowances and contract based workers are also getting less allowances compared to permanent workers. So these are the differences between these three. So trade union is meant to discuss, to solve the problems. If any person is harassed by someone, they should bring to the notice of the trade union leader and he has to put forth in front of the owner of the company. In some cases, what happens, having trade union, having a leader to the trade union and discussing the problems with the company's owner is not enough. Few company owners will not compromise with the situation. They'll be so firm on their decision. Suppose, take for example, if the workers discussed with the trade union, sir, as the expenditure is getting more and more in our family life, so please put on behalf of us that ask company owner to give bonus in advance or else to increase our salaries to some extent so that we cannot face any kind of problems in our family. Even though sometimes what happens, the owner of the company will not be compromised at any cost by saying what, see, this is the investment what I have been kept on this factory and these many workers are working in my factory and this much amount I am paying in the form of salary and allowances to all the workers, but still the production is getting low, the quality is decreasing, so the income is not coming as we are expecting. So now we are not in a position to increase anyone's salary in the factory. If they wish to continue, ask them to continue. Otherwise, ask them to leave. Simply, bluntly, they will give this kind of statement with the trade union leader, even after requesting many times also. Getting profit, not getting profit, nothing. Bullshit. Factory always, after coming to a certain stage, the factories and companies will be in a profit based only, but they won't get any loss. But only the thing is, few company owners are not in favor to help the workers who is working in his own factory. Even though they are working some decades, even though they are working since long time, the company owner will not be in a position to bear the charges of the workers. In such case, what happens, the trade union leader along with all the workers, he will be on strike for few days and manufacturing will be shut down, factory will be shut down. Manufacturing of products means what? The producing of the products in a factory will slow down when workers are on strike. Okay. Few workers will be there, they'll act so cleverly because a group of people will be there. He'll pretend that I am with you. You try to express your problems, I am there to solve your problems, but I'll discuss with the trade union leader or company owner. Sometimes what happens, instead of giving benefits to all the workers, okay, the company will give lump sum amount to only one person and making them to shut down their mouths. Asking them to be cool and calm. If they'll do such things, they'll give warning, will remove immediately from the work. But do you think, unfortunately, if any person is losing his work, can he get work immediately? out of the factory? He cannot. Nowadays, this recession is going on like anything. Even after doing MS from abroad, even after completion of his graduation, with all technical skills, with all communication skills, with good talent and good knowledge also, so many people are living idle without any work because there is no job sources in the society. Fortunately, what will happen, even though if you are well qualified, well educated also, situation will make you to compromise and situation will demand you to work which you are not eligible and which you are not suitable. Because there is no other alteration with the people. There is no other alternative. Because they want to survive their family, they want to earn the money, they want to generate the income in one way or the other. So, if there is no job facilities or job recruitments or requirements are not there in the companies, what people will do? The people will engage themselves in some place or the other which it is beyond their expectations, which is not suitable to their talent, which is not suitable to their qualification. So, here when trade union formed in each and every company, don't be under assumption that trade union will solve all the problems of the workers those who are facing while doing. Every company owner will listen the words of the trade union leader. Don't be under that assumption. We have seen in so many films. We have seen in so many films because the films what we are watching, they are not creating. They are not creating because these problems are facing in the society by all the people somewhere or the other. Okay, so as an individual, can we move to each and every place to watch all these problems? We cannot. We cannot. So don't think that the film people are making people to learn how to behave and how to live in the society. It's not like that. Practically, these are the problems facing in a society by the people. They're taking a film, they're with a few characters and they are making the film and they are presenting to us. So, real, sometimes few things are happening in a real manner. Okay, so in films also we are able to watch when trade union leader is going with the company's owner, they will never compromise with the people. They'll never compromise with the people. The one and only weapon they are using that if we are not, if we won't give salaries, if we won't accept their demands, they won't work. If they won't work, we'll remove from the factory. If any worker is removing from their own job, it is highly impossible to secure another job immediately in the society when lack of jobs are there in the society. There are no jobs. So, mentally, they are taking an advantage of the workers by the owner of the company to shut down their mouths. So, this is what happening regular in the society in almost all the companies. In almost all the companies. In private companies, they'll remove the people like anything. Whenever they want, without giving prior intimation also, they can remove the people. Because once upon a time when I worked in one school, the management asked me to remove 2 to 3 people. 2 to 3 people without giving any prior intimation. They are the best in their place. But who has to suffer? Ultimately, the head of the organization should suffer to take out those, to inform those 3 people to move out. But do you think, is it genuine?
No.
Is it correct on the management's part? Nothing else. But so many things are happening in the society. So we can't take any them into consideration. Okay. So this is about a company which is Fibrotex company, where the permanent workers, out of total workers, how many are appointed as permanent, how many are badli and what are contract based workers, and how the trade union was formed. We discussed very clearly about trade union and all that. In my next session, let us go with one more example where there will be a medicine factory where the medicines are manufacturing. How many workers are working in that factory? Out of how many are permanent and how many are said to be daily basis or badli workers? Let us discuss very clearly in the next session. Until then, have a nice day.